Hello all and welcome back. I hope you're all doing really well and have had a fantastic weekend. Today, again, we are in the green territory for the majority of the cryptocurrency projects, which is fantastic to see. And hopefully some of those of you that have averaged in or averaged down into your positions may have a small amount of profit on them over the last couple of days. That being said, turbulent times are still ahead, and I want to take a look in more detail about the cryptocurrency markets in general, and of course cover some news surrounding Hedera, as well as some quant information and Bitcoin across the board. On screen right now is a image, a sort of infographic style image from a Twitter account called Visualize Value from back in 2020, and it's effectively a sort of synonym for the markets at the moment. So people around these low areas will be saying this is pointless. People then tend to exit the markets or dissolve their positions, and you will see a pump towards the upside to unimaginable new highs. We've seen this several times in the cryptocurrency space, particularly with large cap projects like Bitcoin and Ethereum, but also other blue chip projects, which have smaller market caps as we currently stand. Making sure that you have that true conviction into the future is, of course, incredibly important. And hopefully this channel is giving you some information, particularly on projects like Hedera, Quant, etc. And you kind of have that conviction to hold for the long term. That being said, of course, nothing on this channel is financial advice. You need to make sure you're doing your own research, but hopefully I'm giving you some additional information to help you make those decisions. That being said, if I do flick over and we just look at the heat map for the market, we can see that Bitcoin is up 44.1% over the sort of last 24 hours, and the dominance is roughly 45%. That Bitcoin dominance is continuing to climb. Ethereum also up 5%. The rest of the smart contracts as well are up fairly well. Some of the DeFi platforms are climbing. Memes to NFTs and centralized exchanges. So across the board, we are seeing a small resurgence. As I said in yesterday's video, this could always be a dead cat bounce, and we do move lower to the downside. So I wouldn't go full balls to the wall with all your capital remaining. Currently, that's what I'm doing anyway. I'm having a little bit on the side. Obviously, I'm averaging to my positions. I have purchased over the last couple of days. I think I bought on the 12th, 13th. I didn't purchase yesterday. And I'll be looking to see what happens on Monday with markets to average further into my positions. That being said, if we do look at the old faithful crypto bubbles, we can see across the board, as mentioned, majority of the projects are green. See Luna, they're dumping 30% again on the daily. No surprise there. I'm still steering very well clear. I did see some comments talking about potentially a short-term play on Luna. Realistically, you could take out a short-term position in Luna at the moment, maybe an incredibly small amount of money. You know, I wouldn't throw any more than £10, $10, something like that at it. Please also bear in mind that majority of these exchanges keep flipping the Luna pairs on and off. So what could very well happen is that you buy, say, on KuCoin, where it's currently available, where most of the volume is happening, something further catastrophic happens to Luna, and then they cease trading, and suddenly you are literally locked into the Luna project without an exit plan. So very short term, potentially you could do something. I will not go anywhere near this. This is effectively now a meme coin, and many people are taking advantage of those who aren't understanding or aware of the tokenomics of Luna. The fact that the circulating supply is now at 7 trillion. Ridiculous amounts. There's no way they can begin to reduce that. I believe Do Kwon's plan is effectively to pull that circulating supply or total supply back down to 1 billion. But I don't see that happening because they effectively need the capital to buy up those tokens now. They don't have any of that capital remaining. So in my opinion, this is effectively a dead project. All trust has been lost in its chair. So Do Kwon, he's made a complete mockery of the cryptocurrency space. And I wouldn't even touch this just out of sheer principle of, you know, trading something that has made a catastrophic event, a calamity, if you will, because of poor management and arrogance, as well as greed from the management team. That's my take on it anyway. Moving on, let's look at some Hedera related news. So Jigstack's Lemonade is one of the first token launchpads to partner with the Hedera token service. Now, I did actually cover Jigstack Lemonade a long time ago, many months ago. I think they were talking about working with Hedera. This has now effectively been confirmed, and Jigstack, along with the Hedera token service, are forging a strategic alliance to advance the tokenization industry. Jigstack will bring one of its flagship products, Lemonade, which also runs on the Ethereum blockchain, to the Hedera ecosystem, where it will act as a launchpad for all blockchain native projects. the power of the first DeFi jigstack protocol, Lemonade. So here's a sort of interface snippet effectively of what it looks like. Obviously, they've already got a product live on Ethereum, and they are now working with HBAR, the Hedera team, to understand the capabilities and drive forward this integration. So we can see here, Lemonade is built on the Ethereum ecosystem where it will remain active for the foreseeable future. A similar implementation has been developed for the Hedera ecosystem. Both options will coexist and accommodate the needs of their respective clients. It will serve as a launchpad for any project creating a native token on this directed a cyclic graph in the future, i.e. hash graph. It is a strong validation of what Jigstack has been building and also validates the Hedera token service. So these will operate on multiple chains. They will be chain agnostic as a platform, similar to how Stader has, their Luna protocol. I think they've got a Phantom one, and then obviously Stader Hedera as well for the Hedera, all native on their individual chains. And then the holding company is effectively chain agnostic in that respect. But this is great again to see that there are more and more projects and development teams looking to build on the Hedera token service natively. That's obviously very important, and we continue to see this adoption across the board, which is fantastic for the future. Jumping across to something different, let's just take a quick dive into Bitcoin as to what's happening at the moment. So an interesting piece of news is uncovered in the last sort of several hours. Bitcoin's Bitfinex whales probably know more than we do. So what this is effectively saying is we can see the Bitfinex longs were spiking back in July of last year. As time's gone on, the longs have exited their position. So obviously a long position being a leverage position, hoping that the Bitcoin price will increase towards the upside. So you can see they began to exit their long positions around the all-time high. So this is the Bitcoin price in orange. And now the Bitcoin price has jumped back down, or dropped rather rapidly back down towards that sort of $30,000 mark. The Bitfinex longs are continuing to spike. So what this means is some very, very big whales are accumulating many Bitcoin long contracts, as they clearly believe there is potential upside for Bitcoin. Obviously, this is something that I've been saying for the past couple of weeks, if not months at this point. There will always be potential upside for cryptocurrency projects like Bitcoin and Ethereum. They are the main drivers of the cryptocurrency total market cap, and they are where the institutions will bring their money first. What we can see as well is that they are clearly gearing up for potentially a move back towards the upside. That being said, we may still see some short-term pain. Again, a similar sort of chart here showing just a black and white version effectively of that. We can see this absolutely ginormous spike in Bitcoin longs. This is now in unprecedented territory for Bitcoin longs over on Bitfinex. And we can see another chart of this exactly here. So the exact July 2021 bottom was the last time the Bitfinex longs peaked. And we can see they are now nearing all-time high longs again on Bitfinex. Last time they approached this level was the exact 2021 bottom. So the sort of snippet of information to take away from this is potentially the Bitcoin whales, or the Bitfinex long whales over on that platform are believing that potentially we are near the bottom somewhere, and hence why they're opening these contracts. They got it fairly spot on last time we hit the bottom in July 2021. And then, of course, as the price moves to the upside, they begin to close their longs as that additional risk is no longer worth it in the short term. So good sort of technical measure there, a macro measure to try and justify where we are in the crypto markets at the moment. That being said, jumping across again, still staying on Bitcoin, but also coinciding with TERRA. TERRA's $3.5 billion Bitcoin reserve has reportedly become untraceable. So this goes back to what I was just saying a few minutes ago about Do Kwon. All trust has been lost in Terra Luna. Even if it does somehow recover, I think everyone should stay completely clear of it. If they've got $3.5 billion of Bitcoin that was purchased via liquidations of Terra, and they were stacking that reserve, and suddenly it's just become untraceable, that speaks volumes about the management team and the platform in general. They are clearly covering themselves. They probably moved this Bitcoin off exchanges and are trying to liquidate to exit positions themselves to protect some of the gains they did have. And then you see completely uninformed people responding to news like this saying it's FUD. I'm afraid it's not FUD. This is not fear, uncertainty, and doubt. They literally crashed the market because they had an unfeasible algorithmic stablecoin burn mint mechanism with a token, which literally was a Ponzi scheme in the literal definition of the word. That being said, Goldman Sachs and Barclays have just invested in Bitcoin and cryptocurrency trading platform Elwood Technologies. Obviously, I covered as well the other day, you had SIBO buying up a centralized cryptocurrency exchange, and now we've got Goldman Sachs and Barclays, two investment banks that are moving into the cryptocurrency trading exchange world. So as I said before, they are clearly gearing up to take part or participate in having some of that revenue from trading and large volume transactions coming from institutions, even maybe pension funds. You think they are trillion-dollar industries. Once we start seeing them open up to cryptocurrencies, you might have pension fund managers moving into cryptocurrency as a risk reward hedge for the future for a lot of the pensions they hold. There is so much capital sloshing around in these markets. All we need is a fraction of that to become available for the cryptocurrency markets, and we will see massive spikes across the board for majority of projects. As mentioned, the Binance CEO, CZ, as well, has also expressed his thoughts about TERRA. He's asked where all of that Bitcoin has gone and has been asking for transaction IDs. He finds it incredibly suspicious that Terra Luna has not given the transaction IDs of that Bitcoin. And I agree, we should not be left to third-party companies or individuals to try and track where that Bitcoin's gone. The Terra Foundation Guard should be providing that information for clarity and clearance. Binance did not participate in the second round of Luna's fundraising, nor did we acquire any UST. Binance Labs invested $3 million in Terra, the layer 0 blockchain, in 2018. UST came much later after our initial investment. Of course, this is how investments work, right? You win some, you lose some, you invest early. CZ pointed out minting, forking don't create value, buying back and burning does, but requires funds that the project team may not have. He noted that at this point, what he would love to see is more transparency from them. Much more, including specific on-chain transaction IDs of all the funds. Relying on third-party analysis is not sufficient or accurate. This is the first thing that should have happened. So effectively reiterating what I just said there. Another use case over on Hedera, which has actually been around for a little while, but I've not touched on, being leveraged by a majority of the wallet services, is LedgerWorks. So these guys are providing an enterprise-style node, data search as a service, DSaaS, for Hedera and the token services in particular. Now, of course, many people joining Hedera can actually use Hedera's native nodes, but they are not as quick as LedgerWorks. So LedgerWorks is obviously helping to scale these development applications, and is another great use case, powering the data layer for the most mission critical Web3 applications running on Hedera. It's another bullish use case there. Rounding up towards the end of this video, I just wanted to touch on this fantastic tweet from HBAR to the moon. Now that there is less noise in crypto right now, this means it's a great time to spread the facts about Hedera. No DLT even comes close to what's possible and is being built on it. Find all of the great real-world use cases being built here. So HBAR to the moon. And if we look at this, a ton of different network parameters as well as their performance specs. Obviously, I've built loads of infographics over on my Twitter account, Dan Reads Finance. You should check that out if you haven't seen it before, comparing different layer 1 solutions. And most of the time, Hedera is best in class on a variety of different network parameters. We can see here, transactions per second, 10,000 plus transactions per second. That's obviously currently being throttled, almost infinitely scalable. The average fixed fee at $0.0001 per transaction. Confirmation speed, 3 to 5 seconds with finality. I said most of the nodes are actually running at 3 or sub 3 seconds with finality a few months back. Just shows how crazy it is. Smart contract 2, 100 plus transactions per second. Again, all of these transaction figures are limited currently in its form. The scalability of the Hedera network is one of its prevailing features and will enable it to grow very rapidly with any demand that comes. Hardware wallet support, yes. Software wallet support, yes, etc. Use cases, tokenization, fraud mitigation, CBDCs, Internet of Things, NFTs, data compliance, decentralized IDs, hybrid blockchains, interoperability. You've got the carbon credit and carbon emission stuff that we've seen from teams like Dovu and as well Atma.io solution that's going live. We've also got sort of out-of-the-box projects like pseudo-random number generation on Hedera. Because of its quick finality and trust mechanisms, you can build applications like that, which could be integrated directly into existing solutions to provide better security for platforms. The use cases on Hedera are literally infinite. They are endless, as well as the scalability of the network means that this enterprise adoption measure that they have taken the stance on from the beginning will prevail over the long term, and we will see Hedera rise to become probably one of the top layer 1 solutions in the space. I am saying that with almost full conviction in Hedera and the team. They are doing fantastic things, and we continue to see improvement proposal upon improvement proposal. That being said as well, we've also got the DeFi narrative, DApps, DEXs, etc., all developing in the background via third-party teams, and we will see launches very, very soon. Fun fact for all the HBAR fans, Did you also know the co-founder of Quant, Paolo Tasca, actually sits on the Hedera Governing Council? No, before any speculation, don't suggest anything by it, just a fun coincidence. I'm so honored to be part of Hedera's council. Best of luck for 2022. Many more good news to come. HBAR council member have conducted a transaction performance review there. We can see on Hedera, obviously co-founder of Quant Network. Obviously Quant is something that I cover on this channel quite a lot as well. It's something that I'm very bullish on, and it's nice to see some overlap between the development teams and sort of council teams of both projects. Clearly, Paolo Tasca obviously believes in Hedera as well, if he's sitting on the governing council and being a co-founder of Quant. Obviously said before, these two sort of chains are not competing, so they will both coexist into the future and probably be very successful. As I've said before, Quant is my favorite interoperability solution currently out there. Chainlink as well is also another very good one, and they're both on fire sale prices at the moment if you guys do not have positions in those. Rounding up the video, HBAR latest tweet has come out saying the testnet DAPP release will be delayed by a few days as we're introducing some extra cool features for all of you to try out. Don't forget, we'll be running a bug bounty reward in HSUITE. More details to come soon. So hopefully next week we will now see the HBAR testnet DAPP launch with all the different features. Check out the other videos on my channel, as I did give a sort of run through of what we expect to see from their early teaser videos. It does look like a great platform and really will help kickstart the ecosystem. Anyway, guys, that kind of wraps up this video. I want to kind of end it here to make sure it's not too lengthy. Hopefully you all enjoyed it. If you did, drop a like, leave a comment if you've got something to say. I do enjoy interacting with you all. Make sure you're subscribed if you're not subscribed. Tons of videos coming. Don't miss out on those, as there's plenty of opportunities in the Hedera ecosystem, which I touch on very frequently. Till then, enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I'll catch you all soon. Bye.